Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to go over 15 items that you should have on your mid-level accounts. Most of these are going to be untradable items, but some of them will just be regular tradable items that are extremely useful. Now the term mid-level changes its meaning depending on who's saying it, but generally these are going to be between the levels of 50 and 70 in every skill, and most of these will have quest or diary requirement. However, these are all extremely useful items to have on a mid-level account or even on a high-level account. If you don't have them, they're extremely nice goals to go for. You will complete a lot of quests doing them, as well as unlock a bunch of useful rewards. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Alright, coming in at number 1 is the Helmet of Neitiznot. This helmet has a requirement of 55 defense as well as the Fremenic Isles quest completion. It has very similar stats to the Berserker helmet, however it does offer a +3 prayer bonus. Now there are helmets that are stronger in the game, however this helmet provides a very balanced overall allocation of its stats, where other helmets are either degradable, very heavily leaning towards certain defensive bonuses, or just plain out really expensive. Considering the Helmet of Neitiznot is under 100k, is currently better than the Serpentine Helm in most circumstances, and it really doesn't have a large requirement to unlock or wear. I think this is one of the best overall items for mid-level accounts to go for. Next up here we have imbuing the Daganoth rings. So this is the Archer ring, the Berserker ring, the Seer's ring, or the Warrior ring. Now the ones that are most commonly used are the Berserker ring and the Archer ring. Now the other two do see uses somewhere, but not as frequently. Now the Berserker ring and Archer ring don't actually have a requirement to wear. You will need to buy them on the Grand Exchange or get them from killing Daganoths. The only requirement is money because they are kind of expensive. However, imbuing them does have an actual requirement that you cannot purchase on the Grand Exchange. You will need to imbue them with 650,000 Nightmare Zone reward points, and doing this will double the combat stats that are given. So for example, the Berserker ring normally gives a +4 strength bonus and a +4 crush attack bonus. However, once imbued, it will give a +8 strength bonus and a +8 crush attack bonus. This makes these rings the best in game, and certainly worth going for a mid-level account. Coming in at number 3 is the Ava's Attractor, Accumulator, or Assembler. These items require the quest Animal Magnetism to complete, which is actually a pretty easy early game quest to do. However, to equip the Ava's Accumulator, you will need a range level of 50, and to equip the Ava's Assembler, you will need a range level of 70. The Ava's equipment is one of the most useful items in the game because what it will do is pick up arrows that you have shot and drop on the ground. Now the retrieval effect is pretty similar between the 3 different Ava's equipment, however the higher level ones you wear, the more combat bonuses that they give. The Ava's Accumulator gives a +4 ranged attack bonus and a very slight defensive magic bonus, however the Ava's Assembler gives a +2 ranged strength bonus and a +8 ranged attack bonus. However, the Ava's Assembler will require quite a bit of a higher level account, so I wouldn't really consider this a mid-level goal because you will need the Vorkath's head. That will require the completion of Dragon Slayer 2, which is a pretty high tier quest. Coming in at number 4 is obtaining full Graceful. The Graceful set is obtained from completing the rooftop agility courses, and what it will do is reduce the amount of weight in your inventory. This will help you run further. Now on top of that, when you have completed the full Graceful set, so all 6 pieces, you are also going to restore your run energy 30% quicker while you're walking or immobile. This is an extremely useful set because for so many things in the game you will be running back and forth, whether for skilling or questing. To unlock the set, you will need 260 marks of grace, and if you start doing the rooftop agility courses as soon as you can, you should get the Graceful set around 55 to 60 agility. Coming in at number 5 is the Bonecrusher. The Bonecrusher is obtained as a reward for completing the Hard Mauritania achievement diaries. What it's going to do is automatically bury bones for you that drop on the ground. Normally you would have to pick them up, click them in your inventory to bury them. However, with the Bonecrusher, the bones will automatically get buried as long as you have the Bonecrusher in your inventory. Now this can be even more useful if you go to places that have a Bonecrusher effect, like the Catacombs of Kourend, or if you have a Bonecrusher necklace. This is an awesome way to get passive prayer experience when you're training Slayer, combat, or anything else that would drop bones. Now you will need to charge the Bonecrusher, however it's a very quick process and totally worth it for the passive prayer experience that you can get. Coming in at number 6 is the Barrows gloves. Now this is an iconic grind in old school RuneScape and really provides a perfect goal for mid-level accounts. The Barrows gloves are obtained from completing the Recipe for Disaster questline, which has a ton of requirements associated with it. However, 175 quest points is one of the larger requirements. This will force you to go all over Gielinor completing quests and getting skill requirements. The Barrows gloves themselves provide the best melee offensive bonuses, one of the best offensive range bonuses, and even a passable mage offensive bonus. They are extremely useful in so many different situations, and even getting lesser tiers of the gloves can be useful as well. Once you get over the adamant gloves, they will be better than the combat bracelet. And on top of that, the adamant gloves are quite a bit cheaper than the combat bracelet as well, making it a much lower risk. Coming in at number 7 is the Fire Cape. The Fire Cape is one of the few capes to actually provide a melee strength bonus. The Fire Cape provides a strength bonus of 4, where most other capes do not provide anything except for defensive bonuses. It is obtained by completing the Fight Caves, and while the Fight Caves don't really have an inherent requirement, generally if your combat stats are around 75 or higher, that is going to be a safe bet. However, it can be done much sooner than that. Coming in at number 8 is unlocking the full Procelyte set. The Procelyte set is obtained from completing the Slug Menace quest. Once you complete the quest, you will get access to the Procelyte armor. It provides one of the best prayer bonuses in the entire game. Getting armor with prayer bonus can be extremely useful in quite a few different situations. Having a higher prayer bonus will make your prayer deplete at a much slower rate. This can be useful at places like Nightmare Zone, Slayer, or really any other combat where you are going to be using overhead prayers. And on top of that, the Procelyte armor does offer passable defensive bonuses as well, where most prayer boosting items do not. Next up here, we have the Slayer Helm Eye. Now I'm specifically mentioning the Imbued Slayer Helm because the regular Slayer Helm isn't actually that much more useful than the Black Mask. The Slayer Helmet is created by using a Black Mask along with a bunch of other items to create the Slayer Helmet. It requires 55 crafting as well as 400 Slayer reward points. However, this does not inherently give you any more damage. It's just kind of convenient and more of just quality of life. It still retains the 15% damage boost when you are using melee. However, when you imbue the Slayer Helmet with 1.2 million Nightmare Zone reward points, it will apply that bonus to ranged and magic. So if you start using ranged or magic when you're doing Slayer tasks, it's very important that you get this upgrade. A 15% damage boost is massive when you take into account how much damage you can do with ranged or how much damage you can do when you're bursting Slayer creatures with magic. 1.2 million Nightmare Zone reward points does sound like a lot, but you will get that pretty quickly if you were training there kind of consistently. If you were just training there regularly and not trying to optimize points, that could take you 5 or 6 hours. However, it's definitely worth it for such a massive upgrade. Coming in at number 10 is the Dragon Defender. The Dragon Defender provides the best melee offensive bonus in the offhand slot, and is just an iconic item to get in the game. To unlock this, you will need access to the Warriors Guild, which will require around 65 attack or 65 strength, or a combination of the two that adds up to 130. You need to slowly kill the Cyclopses in the Warriors Guild, and you will obtain the Defender's Bronze through Dragon. These are immediately going to be useful because there is not really an alternative item to wear at lower to mid levels. Once you unlock the Dragon Defender, it will give you a +6 offensive strength bonus, as well as a very substantial attack bonus and decent defensive bonuses. Also, when you consider that some of the best training weapons are one-handed, getting a Dragon Defender makes it so much better because they can be worn at the same time. Coming up next here at number 11 is the Holy Wrench. The Holy Wrench requires the Rum Deal quest to use and obtain, and what it will do is boost the amount of prayer points that you receive from consuming prayer potions. Now this is going to scale off of your prayer level, so for example, if you have 99 prayer, a prayer potion would regularly restore 32 prayer points. However, with a super restore, it would restore 34, an extra 2. This will be extremely useful at places like Nightmare Zone, even certain Slayer tasks, or really anything where you're going to be using a lot of prayer potions. Next up here at number 12, we have the Fighter Torso. The Fighter Torso is one of the best mid-level chest items to go for because it provides a +4 strength bonus, unlike most equipment at that level that just provides a defensive bonus. To obtain this armor, you need to complete the Barbarian Assault minigame. You will require 375 honor points, which will take quite a while. However, until you obtain the Bando's chestplate, it will be your best gear for melee training. Next up here we have the God Books. The God Books are obtained by completing the Horror from the Deep quest. There are a bunch of different God Books and they provide different stat allocations based on the God type. For example, the Darkness and Unholy books provide a magic attack bonus. The Book of Law provides a good ranged attack bonus. There are books that provide melee attack, however it's actually more useful just to go for the Defender because it will be a much better alternative and will not even cost you any money. However, that being said, the God Books are an extremely useful mid-level item to go for because they provide a lot of flexibility in the stats that you can get, and they're really not that expensive objectively. Coming in at number 14 is the Ancient Mace. The Ancient Mace is obtained from completing the Another Slice of Ham quest, and it is used mainly for its special attack. What this special attack does is it uses 100% special attack to drain prayer points from your opponent. It will drain the prayer points by 100% of the damage you do, so for example, if you hit a 50, you will obtain 50 prayer points from your opponent. This is extremely useful for PvM, any place where you are going to be using overhead prayers or generally just need a lot of prayer points, being able to restore prayer points is extremely useful. One other interesting thing from this item is it can overheal you with prayer. So for example, if you go into your POH and use it on a dummy, you can potentially get up to like 130 to 140 prayer before you even leave your house, which can really help in certain circumstances as well. And last up here, number 15 is obtaining the God Capes. The God Cape is obtained by completing the Mage Arena mini quest. The original God Capes are really easy to obtain and will provide a plus 10 magic attack bonus, which is quite good. However, if you want to obtain the Imbued God Cape, it's quite a bit more challenging. You need to kill 3 wilderness bosses and loot a drop from all 3 of them. And on top of that, if you lose the Imbued God Cape, you can't get another one without repeating the process. So you really don't want to be risking this God Cape. However, by imbuing it, you will get a plus 2% magic damage boost, which actually can increase your max hit, along with a plus 15 mage attack bonus over the regular 10. For any low risk activity like Zulrah, or anything else you're not likely to die at, getting the Imbued God Cape is extremely useful, and the regular God Cape is actually also useful for stuff like Revenants, anything in the wilderness, or anything else where you're likely to die from it. And that is it, guys. Those are 15 items that you should have on a mid-level account. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave the video a like, and I will see you next time.